Hi everybody, Petra here with Petra's Creative Plans. Thank you for joining me today. So today we are going to be doing the November setup in my bullet journal. I may film this over a couple of sessions. It just kind of depends on how it goes. So let's get started. Okay, so to start, I just want to go over a few of the supplies that I have on hand for this. So first off, I have some black brush pens that I'll be using for some of my lettering. I've got my two Tombow Fudanowskis, a hard and a soft. I've got my Marvy Le Pen Flex, and I've got my Tombow dual brush pen. I have a regular pencil. I have part of a kneaded eraser. I have my little bullet journal ruler and stencil handy. I have my Artist Loft fine liner pens, and I've selected the brush pen 0.1, 0.03, 0.3, and 1.0 sizes. And I'm going to be playing with some of my Tombow brush pens for this spread. So I have selected the colors 126, 177, and 158 for my greens. For my reds, I have selected 856, 905, and 835. And then I also have a N89 and a 990. All right, so let's jump in. I've gone ahead and I've done a little bit of pre-planning or sketching. Let's see here. All right, so for my first page, I've done some light pencil here to kind of show what I want to do. And for my November spread, I'm going to be doing a Remembrance Day and poppy kind of theme. Speaking of which, I might also be bringing in this white and red polka dot washi tape. So I've done some rough sketches of where I want to have my flowers. I've also written out a nice little quote here very lightly. So I think to get started, I'm just going to jump right in with some color. And now the only thing that I forgot is I do want sort of a yellowish shade. And I think I'm going to just select this color, which is a kind of a creamy yellow. It's a 991 in the Tombow. So to begin, I'm just going to go for it. So I'm going to take this poppy that I've kind of roughly sketched here, and I'm just going to put some yellow down in the very center. And then I'm going to grab my 3 reds, and I am going to start with my darkest red, and that will be the 856, I believe. Yes, the 856 is my darkest. And so for this, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a little bit under here where there might be some shadowed areas. And I'm just going to put this around, and then I'm going to go into my next darker shade here, and I'm just going to take this out a bit from there. And I'm just kind of winging it, and I'm hoping that this is going to turn out well. So this first petal is going to have a shade or a shape somewhat like this. And I'm just going to color this in. Okay. And I don't draw a lot of florals I certainly haven't, I haven't drawn poppies before, so we shall see how this goes. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing where we're going to kind of come in around this top one, only it's not going to be as much dark, so I'm just going to do a little bit of this kind of flicking motions going up with the darkest color. Then a little bit with the lighter one here. But this top petal is going to be mainly the lightest red shade. And we're just going to come in and color this in. And I know because of doing my pen test page that I can do quite a few layers of these tombows before it will leak through. And then for this petal that's going to be in behind, I want this one to be darker. So I'm going to come in with my medium color shade here. And I'm going to bring this in here. And a lot of the details will come when we do the line work. And I'm coloring these first because I don't want to run any risk of having any kind of smudging if I were to do the line work first. Okay, and then this petal that's kind of behind here is going to be the darker shade as well. Okay, so that's kind of the start of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to color all of these in the same way. Okay, so now that that red is laid down to start with, I want to go in and put in the green for the leaves. And it'll be kind of the same thing where I'm just going to rough the color in, and then we'll get more of the detail when we go in with the line work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do kind of the same thing. We're going to start with the leaves and go from there. I think for some of these stems, I'm just going to come in with the darkest color. And I think now that I've got some of the stems in, before I do the leaves, I'm actually going to come in and color in my crosses. And so for that, I'm going to be using these two shades. Mainly it will be the N89, and then I'll use the 990 to do a little bit of the shadows and the details. Okay, I'm back. I just had to take a little break. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish up this last leaf right in here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a different shade of green. This one is 192, and I'm going to be using my N00 blender pen. So what I'm going to start with is I'm just going to start by doing sort of an outline. And this doesn't need to be precise because I am going to be cutting this into a Dutch door. But I'm just and as you can tell, I'm just doing this fairly quickly. I'm not too worried. I'm not worried about it being perfect. I will try to avoid going over the other colors, but again, with the style of this piece, it's very loose. I'm not super worried. So then in this area, because this line here is where I'm going to be cutting my Dutch door, but in this area here, I'm going to take my blender pen and I'm going to just get some of this green on it. And the blender will, it will kind of self-clean afterwards, but this will help to let me fade it out and to almost give it a bit of a watercolor look. Another thing you can do, if you have a little palette, you can get the color into the palette and then you can use the blender pen to pick it up and put it down. And that actually might be a little bit of a faster way of doing it. All right, so now I want to get into some of the line work here. All right, so we've done that. Now I want to come in and do the hand lettering here on this quote. Okay, so for that, I'm going to start with my Tombow. so there we have that. I really like that. And so yeah, I think I am going to take a little break for now, and I'll come back to continue on. All right. All right, everybody, I'm back again. It is the next day, and let's continue on with my November setup in my bullet journal. So we've done our cover page here. And as you'll notice, it doesn't say November on it. That's because I'm going to have November coming down the side here that you'll be able to see. So let's move on to the next page here. Okay, and so for this one, I had kind of drawn out to have, you know, a little bit of a, whatchamacallit, I had a little bit of a plan already in place. And so I just want to add in one of these little, quickly having a spot for one of these little buds here as well. I think that'll be good. So this will be the monthly calendar here. So let's get started. I'm going to start with grabbing one of my fine liners. I think I'm going to grab my 1.0, and I'm going to write in the November. Okay, so then we can see the November there. All right, and I have drawn in some florals there, which will get erased because I wasn't sure about the cutout, how that would work out. So now what I want to do is I do want to go ahead and get the calendar drawn. So for that, I want a smaller fine liner. I think I'm going to go with the 0.3. Okay, and then I'm also just going to write in up at the top, at a glance. Okay, and then for my calendar spread here, I am just going to color in this one little poppy. I had contemplated throwing in just a little flag of this down, like a little piece of this down, just to kind of bring some of this polka dotted washi into play. I don't mind the way that looks, so I might go ahead and do this. And I'm just going to cut the end of my washi tape to look like a ribbon. I'll get some tweezers here, pull that up. And we'll trim off this excess. I like that. I think it's missing a little something. I almost wonder if I should add in just a tiny little accent of this red with it. I do like that. And for this metallic red, same thing. I'm just going to make a little ribbon end to it. And we'll trim off the excess up here. And I think that definitely kind of finishes that off nicely. I like that. Okay, nice, good. So moving on to the next page. So here I'm going to have my trackers. So again, this one is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to have just 30 boxes, one for each day, and I will just mark them off as I go. So I'm going to go Okay guys, I just realized we forgot to do the outlining on this one. So let's go ahead and quickly do that. Now we can continue on. So what I'm deciding on here, so I've made my tracker boxes. I've just numbered them 1 through 30 for each day of the month here. And I'm wondering if I want to put in just a little bit of a piece of washi tape. I think I might do that, but first I need to erase the pencil underneath, just to add a little bit of corresponding color to this page. Okay. So I'm just going to take a piece of washi tape and stick it down over top of each one. Okay, and I will grab my craft knife here and we will make some ribbon edges. So when you do this, you just want to be careful not to push too hard, because you just want to cut, you want enough pressure to cut through the washi tape, but you don't want to cut through your journal page. And it helps if you have a nice sharp blade. Forgot to do that one. Okay, so then I'm going to write my habits on here, and for that I'm going to take my 1.0 again. And so here I'm just going to write these on. Actually, I might take my Sharpie. I'm going to use my Sharpie fine liner. Okay, so we have reading. It's a little hard to see. I'm not loving that. It says the beauty of washi tape. We can pull this up, put a new piece down. I have another idea. tweezers are here. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I do have a little piece here of just some extra sticker paper. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to take one of the reds just going to color down like that. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, one moment. Okay, I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to trim it to take off the colored edges so that we have just a solid. Now how big do I want these? Okay. So we're going to trim these up just to get rid of those edges so that it's just solid. Okay. And then for these, so this piece here is just over 2. So let's see, that'll work. So I'm just gonna make 4 of these little pieces of paper. They're all about a 1/2 inch wide. Okay. Then on these, I'm going to write out what they are. So I am going to have, and again, I'm using just a Sharpie fine liner. So I'm going to have reading, gratitude, journaling, and a new one for me is going to be no sugar. And for me, by no sugar, I don't mean I'm going to eat absolutely 0 sugar in my diet. I just mean I'm going to, you know, not put sugar in my coffee or my tea and that sort of thing, just to try and minimize the amount of sugar that I'm having. I will still eat things that have sugars and carbs in them. I just don't want to add sugar to anything. Okay, for my reading. And so what I plan to do is when I come in here and I mark off my trackers, for each day, what I'm going to do is when we make the mood tracker, which is right here, the color that I use to fill in for my mood tracker is going to be the same color that I mark off here, so I can correspond my moods with what I do and do not do on those days. Going back to my 1.0, I'm just going to write in here, and I'm just going to freehand this. Trackers. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the mood tracker page. And so for this page, I did use this bird stencil that I have. I got this at the Dollar Tree. And I didn't want to do flowers for this, and I thought the birds would be kind of neat because for me, birds represent a lot of really good things. So I thought it would be kind of fitting. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the title up at the top. And by the time this one is done, it is going to be pretty busy. So I'm just going to keep this font the same as when we did the November. So I'll thicken up some of them. Only this time I'm going to thicken up the upstrokes instead of the downstrokes like we did on November. So we'll make it a little bit of opposite. So the only thing that's going to be hard is going to be for the D. So I think what I'll do for that is I'll just do the sideways ones. Okay, and then I'm going to outline the boxes for my colors, for my moods. I'm going to move down to a smaller liner pen, and I'm going to go into my 0.3, and I'm going to write in here just the word tracker. Okay, and then I will write in my moods here. So I'm going to do happy, meh, tired, mad, and sick. I don't like the way that A looks. Oh well, it is what it is. And so now I'm going to go ahead and outline all 30 of these birds. So I will probably just do a couple and then pause it and just come back when it's done, because that'll take me forever. Okay, so I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to go around and quickly outline them. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead, I've done that. So here it is. I've got everything outlined. I've got all the birds numbered. So now I have to choose my colors. And I think I want to kind of stick with the colors that I've been using in this spread. So I think for the Mad, I'm going to do the red. And I'm just going to write down the numbers. So this is 856. Okay. For the Sick, I'm going to use maybe a dark green. And so this is 177. Okay, and then for the tired, I'm going to do this green, which is number 192. For the meh, I want to do, I think the meh is going to be this kind of green. Just a little bit brighter. This is a 126. And then the happy I'm going to do in the yellow color. And this is 1991. Okay, so those are the colors I'll be using for the mood trackers. Let's carry on. Okay, so this page here is going to be very simple. I'm just going to clip my page down. So there's not going to be too much on either of these pages as far as decoration go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write in my titles here. I'm going to come in with my Le Pen Flex. And I'm just going to letter in Brain Dump. Okay, and we're going to switch to a smaller pen, so I'm going to come back with my Tombow Fudanowski hard tip. And here I'm going to make a spot where I'm going to write down ideas for new releases. Some sales ideas. And ideas from my social medias. Okay, and then over here, I'm just going to write out the each day. Then we're going to switch back into my 1.0 liner pen, and we're going to write out the word once. And this time, I'm just going to leave it simple like that. I'm going to grab my eraser here and erase the pencil. Okay, and to give this just a little bit of something, I am going to come in here just along the bottom. And put some of this polka dotted washi as well as a little piece coming in up here. We will cut these ends into ribbon ends. Okay. Let's peel those up. We'll trim off the excess here. Going to come back with my kind of metallic red as well. And so I'm just going to, here I can see sort of an indent of where the polka dotted washi is underneath, and I'm just going to follow that cut line. So that it looks like it's all part of the same . And then we will do the same thing up here. I'll take this, just going to run it down the middle. Okay, and then for here I am going to take my 990 color, which we used on the crosses at the very beginning. And I am going to take this, and now I need 30, and I used part of this down here, which actually I'm going to cut this in here because I need that space. I didn't think about that. So let's take this up. Like that. We're going to keep that maybe for later on. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. So here, start here, and I'm just going to go every other row. Okay, there we go. Moving on. So now we're getting into our weekly calendars here. Okay, so I am going to do tabs for these. Okay, so I am back. I have completed the weekly section. So we have our first week, second week, third week, fourth week, and the fifth week ending here. And then our last page for the November spread is going to be highlights of the month. So again here, I'm going to do some of the poppies and a single cross down here. So we'll start by getting this done. Okay, let me just tidy up my work area and we will do a quick flip through of this completed setup. All right, thank you for sticking through this very long video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's take a look. So we welcome into November with a beautiful little quote about remembrance and our poppies here. Here we have our November at a glance monthly calendar. Then we have our habit trackers, mood tracker, brain dump for new releases, sales ideas, and social media ideas. My once each day gratitude list for a daily gratitude log. Then we go into our weekly journaling sections with a monthly to-do list. Week 2, week 3, week 4, and finally week 5, ending with a highlights of the month page. And that is it. So as you guys can see, I have done a lot of coloring, a lot of layering with my Tombow markers. There is absolutely zero shadowing, no buckling, nothing on this paper. And this is the Scribbles That Matter Pro 160 GSM paper. I love it. This journal has been fabulous. Anyways, once again, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It was long. Oh yeah, and I just put a little rub-on transfer on the cover. Anyways, as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Go ahead, leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you. And thank you so much for joining me. Till next time. Bye.